Schools Board of Education, if you would all rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Led by Mary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Welcome you all tonight. If you would do me a favor, and while I do it, you do it as well. Check your cell phones, make sure they're in the off or vibrate position. We'd appreciate that. We are going to go right into the public hearing section of the agenda, and this is a public hearing on a renewal agreement for the lease for Kenny's Donut Shop next door, who is a tenant of the school district and we enjoy very much. And so this is the public's opportunity to talk about that if they would like to. So I'm going to open up the public hearing. Seeing nobody rise to talk about Kenny's Donut Shop, we're going to close it. Okay. Adoption and approval of the agenda. I did not get an opportunity to ask anybody prior to the meeting if they had any issues on the agenda, so I'll take a motion.
She moved, I'll second.
All right, all those in favor of playing it as it lies?
Aye.
All right, then that's what we shall do. The agenda is solid. Moving on to item G, approval of the minutes. I believe everybody is eligible for that.
Yes.
For that from the last meeting. So I've got a motion.
Second.
Any comment on minutes?
I just requested a typographical adjustment.
And you will see that it's been made.
The item that I held last time was shown as consent, but I changed it to a whole item.
Okay. So we've got that corrected?
It has been corrected.
And it's corrected in here already?
Yes.
Got it. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. So let's go to the fun part of the meeting. Matthew Harris. You've got some guests for us.
It's my pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you for the invitation to come present for the board and for your support for McKinley Elementary School. It means a lot to us. I wanted to introduce Miss Amy DeLeo, our sixth grade teacher, who was the driving force behind the ABCs of McKinley, and is showcasing all the great things that we have going on our campus. And as a second year principal, I see a lot of great changes happening, and I hope that this encapsulates those changes. So, Ms. DeLeo.
All right, so I've invited 4 of the key players, my wonderful helpers and collaborators. This was a team effort by a lot of the 6th graders at our school. So I'd like to introduce Karina, Salma, Ari, and Howell. Without them, this would not have been possible. So I'd like to invite you guys up here with me so we can showcase McKinley.
I just want to take this opportunity as well, any parents with some cameras or camera phones, you're welcome to come on over here and take pictures if you'd like. Make yourself at home.
All right, let's see this one.
The ABCs of McKinley Schools. A is for May, the administration, office staff, custodial staff, Victor and Pedro, Lori and the lunch lady, our teachers and volunteers. McKinley School is led by our amazing administrator, Mr. Harris. He is honored to work in an amazing school at McKinley because of all the amazing kids and inspiring teachers. He loves working with children, playing soccer and basketball at recess, and lunch, and enjoys every day he has here. Our office staff is led by Diana, and she is also honored to be working here at McKinley. She loves working with kids and in the office. Victor and Pedro are our amazing custodial staff, work so very, very hard to make our campus as beautiful as it is.
Might need Mr. Mortenson's technical assistance.
Just click on the slide, I think.
Okay.
Odd.
Technical difficulties
Of course.
already. And we're only on B. Watch your fingers go.
Sorry about this.
Back to
Yeah, we had everything about this before.
This is kind of the norm. We all learn.
Windows 8.1.
I'm gonna let you click because I'm afraid of it now.
Thank you.
Okay.
BS for our beautiful garden. Thanks to our wonderful garden committee of teachers, students, staff, and families, our garden is truly beautiful. It provides so many opportunities for planting, watering, weeding, and harvesting. It offers so many hands-on learning opportunities for all grade levels. McKinley School Garden is the best place to be.
C is for sixth grade camp. Sixth grade camp is important for many reasons. Students experience being independent from their families and depend on each other, and they learn to appreciate nature. This year, students will experience Alliance Redwood Camp this year, and it is something that they will never forget or likely experience again.
D is for dedication. Teachers are dedicated to teach the Common Core math standards, asking students to understand and explain their ideas and concepts more deeply and clearly. Teachers are dedicated in helping their students become critical thinkers, collaborative learners, allow for communication and creativity every day.
E is for experiencing music. All McKinley students in grades 4 to 6 receive weekly music instruction with a certificated music specialist. Music classes highlight skills in instrument playing, singing, listening, composing, and aesthetic responses to music. The music curriculum also incorporates 21st century skills, the 4 C's, and Common Core literacy standards. After successfully completing 6th grade music, students are prepared to continue with music in a junior high instrumental and/or vocal music class.
F is for fundraisers. The McKinley Kids Day Balloons fundraiser is to support large field trips at our school. This first year, it was directed towards outdoor education for 6th grade. Due to its large success, we were hoping to fundraise enough money for each grade level to use towards an educational field trip. Last year, we were able to raise $5,000 with no experience. We had to organize bands, food vendors, and a community donations for the silent auction. There are many other fundraisers like Cheese Candy and also possible. G is for our GATE program. Our GATE program is comprised of self-contained 4th and 5th grade classrooms and a 6th grade classroom set to launch in the 2014-2015 school year. Technology is fully integrated and students are engaged in ongoing inquiry-based instruction, independent research projects, and contain to universal themes.
H is for our high-quality presentations and assemblies. McKinley has been so very lucky to have such amazing high-quality presenters, special guests, and assemblies. We had an up-and-coming country music star, Lizzie Sider, to our school to do a special concert and discussion about bullying. We had an archaeology expert, museum on the go, and Mr. Sharkey every year is able to come and kick off our Red Ribbon Week. Our librarian has been able to bring many wonderful authors to our school. Every month, a class does their own interpretation of a character trait.
I is for intervention. We are so lucky to have the Learning Center to help our students with whatever they need. Intervention gives students the opportunity to work in small groups on the same thing they are working on in class. It gives students a chance to get extra help if needed in Jay for joining in on School Spirit. This year we have 2 social chair representatives in our student council that help plan Spirit Days. The goal is for everyone to have fun and show their spirit for McKinley. Some of the Spirit Days we have had so far this year are PJ Day, costumes on Halloween, Sport Day, Crazy Hair Day, Twin Day, Grade Level Color Day, Hawaiian Day, and many more fun Spirit Days to come.
K is for kindness and compassion. When Typhoon Haiyan hit the Philippines, McKinley School came together and wanted to do something to give back. To show compassion and kindness, the entire school helped raise money, donate clothes and items, and make cards.
L is for leaders. McKinley has many amazing student leaders this year. We have an elected 6th grade executive council and representatives from each class on campus as a part of student council. They have done a great job helping with school-wide events like the Lily Cider event, Salsa Festival, and Winter Bazaar. They also help plan fun Friday activities at recess and at lunch and at Spirit Day. M is for mural. Our beautiful mural is located in our garden area. The look of the mural was decided by students who submitted designs for what should be on the mural. Then our official mural artist took all of the students' concepts and created sketch painting of what McKinley's mural will look like. We had students from the high school who helped us paint the murals. The students were passed on to help as well. And for our new students, we have had some new students to McKinley this year, especially all of our 4th graders who came to us this year. They had all said that they have been welcome making friends, learning lots, and having fun. So it's for one-to-one devices. McKinley has become a one-to-one device school, which is very important to our technology-driven social. It is important to have a one-to-one devices because all students can work at the same time. It is great to use QuickDrive for their writing and use Safari for research on independent projects. The 4th and 5th grade teachers receive PEF major impact grants for iPads. The 6th grade teachers have mostly recently been awarded the PEF grant for Chromebooks. P is for participation in the West Side Relay in Jogathon. Every year, McKinley 5th and 6th graders participate in the West Side Relays in different track and field events. Our students love this event because they get to cheer each other on in a competition setting. The Jogathon is a PTA fundraiser where students are able to receive pledges and a whole morning in dedicated in jogging, eating healthy, and participating in healthy activities.
Q is for quality work. Every student at McKinley produces quality work in every subject area. They have worked with their art docent on amazing art projects, the Rotary volunteer, math, science, language arts, and social studies projects. We are also lucky to have a quality yearbook. Our yearbook is a living document of our school year. Students may think of these as memory keepsakes and look back at their yearbook and see all the pictures and signatures.
R is for reading challenge. McKinley has kicked off the California Reading Associates Great Winter Reading Challenge. Each student arrives at the assembly with a book and a whole school, including teachers and parents. Silent reading time. Shh. Our student body goal is to read 2,400 books by February 28th. We have a huge gumball, I say in air quotes, chart in the multi-tracking reading. There is also a book tree that was hung in the front hallway for kids to write recommendations on a book that they like. Teachers and our principals are also challenging students with reading, giving students incentives for reading and completing comprehension packets and participating in book As for that, our Spanish program is amazing. The program is social studies, immersion in Spanish. 4, 5, and 6, plus 2 PK groups once a week. She is playing a large world of math, mosaic, meal in the classroom where students face pieces from the world, as well as using their classroom platform to travel, play in the world where they also aim means to inspire a more goal outlooking on language, culture, and relationship. T is for TK. We have a wonderful group of 5 girls on our campus in our transitional kindergarten program. The teachers say that the kids are so much fun and are happy to come to school every day. Students at this age are very open to learning. They are learning letters, numbers, and how to be in a school setting. They also learn how to make friends and what words to use when you are solving problems. They are the sweetest group in our camp. Youth unbelievable field trips. Our students get to go on some pretty unbelievable field trips. There's been science field trips to Tole Park to plant trees and go learn about animals, renewable and non-renewable energy sources, and healthy living. 6th grade camp is a definite highlight for 6th graders. Ever since people come to Team McKinley, they've been looking forward to that. There's also been a few trips to San Francisco to the Exploratorium and the Academy of Sciences. We have had classes go to the Charles Schultz Museum and to Snoopy's Home Ice. We have also had some walking field trips to the local parks.
V is for our volunteers. McKinley is grateful to have so many amazing volunteers. We could not run successfully without them. This 6-year volunteers to help run our after-school homework club, and also has the participation of Casa Grande volunteers. We also have the Rotarian volunteers who help teachers with math, science, and social studies lessons.
W is for Winter Bazaar. Every December, McKinley hosts its yearly Winter Bazaar, a fundraiser for PTA. This year we had grade level tamales, sales, desserts, cocoa, and handmade crafts for each class.
X is for being excited about math, science, technology, ecology, and science fair. Students and teachers are very excited about the use of technology into their daily lessons and integrating math and science into the classroom. During our open house, we will hold a science fair where students will get to demonstrate classroom, team, or individual science projects.
Y is for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. 100 years ago, McKinley was a one-room schoolhouse in East Washington, and now we have 13 classrooms. 100 years ago, there was one teacher, and now we have many teachers and staff members. But what is true 100 years ago and today is that back then and now, we have students who are excited about learning new things and teachers that are excited about teaching.
Which
V is for the zillion reasons why we love McKinley.
Good question, but a lot of great things. I love working with wonderful, wonderful students at McKinley and wonderful teachers here at McKinley.
Thank you. What do you love most about McKinley?
What do we love most about McKinley?
Yeah.
We love spirit. We love iPads.
Okay, you?
I love everything.
Okay, you? Yeah. Is that all?
I love the teachers are nice here. I like the principal. I like the
Thank you guys.
Why do you ladies love McKinley? You love McKinley.
Part about McKinley. Thank you.
You love McKinley.
I love McKinley because all the teachers are nice.
And that is the ABCs of McKinley School.
Can you tell me how you guys are doing on your goal for your reading? Because it's coming up, the deadline.
Yeah, we're about halfway there.
You got the other half of February.
Right, exactly.
Anybody have any
Do we
other
want to
thoughts?
open it up for questions or anything like that?
Does have any questions up there?
Are you all sixth graders?
Yes.
So you all excited to go to camp?
Come on, it's gonna be fun.
Her words, not mine.
We haven't lost a kid yet.
Exactly.
Not one yet.
Yeah, right.
So I'd like to say thank you to all of you. You guys helped so much. You did a lot of the pictures, all the videos, all the speaking. So thank you for all of your help.
Very nice job. Thank you very much for coming. Couple of real quick housekeeping things while we're moving things around. 3 more short, very relevant presentations, and then we're going to take a quick break. So I hope that you'll stay, and especially you 6th graders, because you got some 8th graders going to tell you what's going on, where you're going to be pretty soon. And we'll have those folks up next. So let's start with Kenilworth, because you're wearing a tie.
I'm Donovan Brown. I'm the ASB president for Kenilworth Junior High School. Kenilworth Junior High has come back from our break with a brand new semester and a lot of new things for our kids to enjoy. There are several new sport opportunities for the Colts to try. Wrestling meets held by our English and history teachers, Mr. Oreski and Mr. Ryan, have begun with each wrestler intensely training every day after school. Track at KJHS is beginning as well on February 24th. With all new sports starting, we are congratulating Rishi Ranadav for his excellent achievement in his own sport, fencing. Through his hard work and dedication to practicing in San Francisco, in the evenings he has often competitively fenced. He is going to be competing in the Junior Olympics of 2014 on February 15th. Kenilworth's own 7th grade boys basketball team won league championships recently, making all our Colts proud. The dance PE unit flew by almost as quickly as the girls were spun and the toes in the gym were tapped. Now beginning to learn the positions of football, the Colts are excited to play games outside the gym for the year. Once again, the kids at Kenilworth are donating. This time, it is both in Blessings in a Backpack and Jeans for Teens. Blessings in a Backpack provides food to kids who may not receive it on the weekends, in which on weekdays have reduced lunch or free lunch. Jeans for Teens provides homeless youth their own jeans, We have collected over 40 pairs of jeans to donate. They range from slightly used to brand new store-bought.
Thank you. Olivia Jr.
Site report for PGHS for February 2014. Second semester is in full swing and students are really busy working on Common Core aligned assignments, especially in history as students research their topics for History Day. Each year, the students work on projects for this national event. This year's theme is Science and Technology Advancements. The project contains research elements from print, primary, and electronic sources, as well as a fully developed expository essay. Finally, there is a creative element, and students may choose from a short documentary, a poster, a performance, or a model for their topic. The projects will be steadily worked on over the course of the next 3 months and will be showcased at PJHS's open house in May. In addition to the academics, the girls' volleyball and boys' basketball teams finished up strong seasons. One of the highlights was the 7th grade boys' basketball team winning the Kellysville tournament, and the 8th grade boys' basketball team not only winning the league, but they finished undefeated this year and last year, a perfect 32-0. Also in sporting news, wrestling practice has begun with the first match against Altamira this coming Thursday and a match against KJHS next week. On Thursday afternoons, PJHS is hosting the Philharmonic class for musicians that are interested in being a part of a dynamic and challenging musical experience that spans both the junior high and high school. Also on Fridays, the rock and roll class is up and running too. Both of these classes culminate in a special performance later in the spring. Our coding club continues to meet on Tuesdays during lunchtime. This dedicated group is using code.org and other online resources to learn how to program and write code. Another club that is getting active on campus is our Random Acts of Kindness Club. They meet regularly on Thursdays at lunch and are planning to make sweet treats for this Friday's Valentine's Day dance. Counselors have been busy getting ready for incoming 7th graders and supporting our outgoing 8th graders to choose electives and transition to high school. Staff and students are scheduling time in our computer lab to prepare for Smart Balance Test Pilot, which takes place from April 7th to March 16th. Students are getting familiarity with the testing interface and the content for tests they will be taking in English and Math. Additionally, 8th grade students will be taking CST tests in science for the last time as CST/STAR testing phases out and Smart Balance assessment phase in. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And Mr. Everett, you have a guest for us as well.
Good evening. How are you? Yes, it's my pleasure to invite Loretta Cruz-Maggi, the president of the local CSEA chapter, California School Employees Association. And she will introduce the A is for Amazing Classified Employee of the Quarter.
Well played, Ron. Well played.
Teachers always have been stealing. Take a good line and just go with it.
Good evening, Ron, Superintendent Bowman, and Board of Trustees. It is my privilege to serve as the president of our classified unit here in Petaluma. For anyone who may not know who we are the bus drivers, the cafeteria workers, the secretaries, the grounds workers, the maintenance staff, the custodians, instructional assistants, campus supervisors, to name a few titles. This is, of course, my favorite thing to do. I would like to introduce CSEA's third member of the quarter for 2013-14 school year, Gerald O'Hare. If you'd like to come up here. She's you could face this way so everybody can see you. Your grandkids can watch you. Is currently a full inclusion special ed instructional assistant, which means she works mostly with one student. Gerald's been with the district since 1994. She started out as a sub-cafeteria assistant. Then she was hired as an instructional assistant at Cherry Valley. Then she went to McDowell. She worked for Old Adobe. We supply Old Adobe with their special ed instructional assistants. I don't know if you knew that. So she worked at a couple of their schools. at Miwok, where my students went, my kids. La Tercera. Then she went to McNair. She's been around. Although not I've been around. She's been around. Also at Petaluma Junior High. Then McDowell. She was a full inclusion assistant at CASA. Then we're going to fast forward to 809 when she was hired as full inclusion assistant at Kenilworth, and then she moved to Grant in 2010, where she currently is. Now I'd like to share some of the lovely things that were written about Gerald in the nomination form and why she was chosen. Gerald shows kindness and consistencies with her student and all the kids at Grant. Gerald helps his teacher in whatever capacity is asked of her, even above normal job duties. Even when she is with her student at recess, she stops bad behaviors on the playground and takes time to hear the problem and give both students a solution. Gerald communicates with other assistants on campus and mentors the new assistants. Gerald is like the old saying, seen it all, done it all. So her experience is invaluable to all on the campus. Also, she puts treats in classified mailboxes several times a year. She puts her student first and takes time to explain what is expected of them. She keeps the student involved in the classroom as much as possible. So now I'd like to present Gerald with a certificate for being a member of the quarter and Trader Joe's $25 gift card as a little thank you. From our chapter for being an outstanding member, please join me in congratulating Gerald and Harrison. I have to share with you, when we presented her award, when we announced it at the school site, some of the other instructional assistants, full inclusion had, and when Gerald came up to the office, she was like, well, no wonder, I was trying to find kids to play kickball with my son. And the kids were all in the office. The kids were great too. They were all clapping. And one girl had drawn a picture for her, and it was actually her birthday that day. And she gave Gerald a nice little picture.
It's a huge surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
On behalf of the district, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate all you do. Okay. All right. True to my promise, we will take a quick break for anybody who needs to go home and do some homework, or anybody from McKinley who might need to read to make that goal. Knock a couple out tonight. Yeah. And 2 minutes. We'll come back, okay? Call back to order here.
I take it back.
And we're going to move on to, let's see, comments from the public. If I have anybody here from the public to make comment, I'd ask that you fill out a speaker card. Do I have anybody here to make a comment from the public? No public comment tonight. What? That's a little shocking. Okay. So we are going to close the public comment. We're going to move on to report of activities and correspondence. School board members. We've got district leadership team meeting. Was there anything you want to share on that?
So moving along, we have another one coming up in March. And we have a lot to do before the board has to approve the local control accountability plan.
Okay, very good. We got McNair site visit, Pembroke Elementary talent show.
It was very cute, actually. It
I'll bet it
was
was.
very, very cute. Some really.
I saw some video of it.
Just gonna say, particularly one little first grader that rocked it in the hip hop dance. I'm telling you.
Nice.
Watch out, so you think you can
Maybe
dance.
we
It's
need a
kinda-
couple of auditoriums to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club. We've got Mr. Badley announcing that the varsity basketball games, girls varsity basketball games over Petaluma High, and a number of other athletic events. Very good. Let's go on to the consent agenda. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the consent? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's going to go 5-0. Moving over to administration and human resource items, the official 2014 delegate assembly ballot. The board's going to vote and report on the original CSBA ballot. The selection of one CSBA delegate assembly member for Region 3A, of which, if I read that correctly, we have one choice.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
one
can
choice,
write it,
or you can write in.
but I think
Is badly 2 Ds or?
That would be one of the choices. Can almost
I would take
guarantee
a
that.
motion.
to vote for the candidate,
Or one choice.
or what choice.
All right, anybody,
I'll second.
any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
5-0. Resolution 1314-11, the designation of an alternative holiday. The recommended motion is the board adopt a resolution 1314-11 to designate the holiday on September 9th, 2014, known as Mission Day, be observed on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, November 26th, 2014.
So moved.
Take a second on that.
Second.
Steve, is this part of the grand plan?
Yeah, we do this on an annual basis and have always, or historically have moved it to the Wednesday before, even though now we're taking the week off, so
Yeah,
there's
what
two
do we
local
do?
holidays. Those are two local holidays
Okay.
on the Monday and Tuesday before the move to Admission Day, and then Thanksgiving, Thursday and Friday.
So you're pretty much doing what everybody who works for me does, which is take all those little random things and string them all together so we can get a week.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Well, we've got like
Well played.
14 or 15 holidays.
Okay, so I got a motion and a second. Have any discussion after that explanation? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then student attendance calendars for 2014 is the next item under Administration Human Resources, and the resolution is the approval of the 2014-2015 student attendance calendars for the traditional and year-round schools. Before discussion, I'll take the
So
motion.
moved.
Anybody want a second?
Oh, second.
Okay, some discussion. Is anybody here to speak on that from the public?
I had a
Go.
question about why the student or teacher workdays were different for Mary Collins.
And the staff development, well, obviously
Yeah,
they're
staff
year-round, but
First day of school.
they have
Tuesday.
two staff development days that they have, a symposium and a retreat that they have as a district. On January 6th, they will be joining the rest of the district for one of our three common staff development days.
Put it over there then.
Okay.
Okay.
I had a couple people mention to me, Steve, just,
Okay.
I think it's the day after Easter, not that the school wants to get involved in religious holidays, but as a potential day off, because it's always on a Sunday, obviously,
Right.
and a lot of people go visit family out of the area on that Sunday, or that Saturday and Sunday. Is there any chance of
We did look at
considering
that.
that?
We did look at that date, but in considering it for staff development, which we're having this year, staff development day, the day after Easter, it was determined to be later than we wanted to be effective for the 14-15 school year. So it was considered. It was one of our days that was on an earlier draft. It did not end up on the final draft of the calendar.
Is there some other day, or some other reason you can give them that day? I mean, other than staff development, can it be get to know Steve Day? Oh, that'd be too late in the year.
Again, to end up with 180 days, we have moved our start date to Tuesday from our traditional Wednesday. And that was to add a staff development day in October, which is actually going to be on Columbus Day under the proposed calendar. Looking at that period of time and the desire to have in the first semester a staff development day, but not have it on the Thursday before school started. That was the most appropriate day.
Well, it's 2 months without a holiday, it almost seems cruel and unusual.
That was it. I mean, there was a big break between Veterans Day, Labor Day and Veterans Day.
I think, were you talking about spring?
Oh,
Yeah,
the spring?
I'm talking about
About
spring.
between,
Well,
spring
between,
break and Memorial Day.
Yeah, between spring break and Memorial Day. Yeah, that was another big break. We also, the problem with the 23rd is it's right in the middle of the testing window. And with the new Smarter Balanced, we feel that it's going to, the testing window next year, with first year, it's going to be actually counted for students is going to be very tight scheduling to accommodate the use of technology as required.
Steve?
The starting date for teachers is different for elementary and secondary?
Yeah, that's because secondary likes to have a grading day at the end of the first semester. So that Monday after winter break becomes a work day for secondary teachers, and the Tuesday becomes a staff development day, and students actually have 2 weeks and 2 days off and come back to school on Wednesday that week. But that's, you know, we had proposed not to have the grading day, hoping that Aries would help with that, but secondary teachers at this time feel it's critical that, you know, for their 160, 150 student contacts, that they have a day to get all the grades in before they go out on Wednesday, the first day back for school.
All right. And I just have two questions if everybody else is done. First one would be, aren't we a little late in the year for this? Don't we usually do?
We usually do it the second meeting in January for the adoption. The county meeting was late in January. The county tries to have a common calendar countywide. It never happens perfectly, but to save transportation costs, we get as close as we can.
Sure. And then the second is, and this is a discussion that I had with Steve, and I think we've had a discussion before, I would really like to see us work toward some parental participation somehow in this process.
In the calendar process?
Yeah, I know we've talked about it, but if we could work toward that next year, that'd be, I think a good thing. So
Right.
that's
Well, Steve, just, how many total days off do we have? I mean, look at this, it's got 14 holidays, right?
We
Count,
have
right? There's
13
14
holidays during the course of a year, I believe.
Okay, and then fall break is a week,
Well,
right?
so if you're a classified employee or a management employee, those are work days. So the fall break,
Well, I'm just saying, how many days off of school for the kids?
okay, so
For the
schools,
kids.
school's required to be 180 days.
Yeah.
So we have 180 school days and we have 5 additional work days for teachers. 2 work days, 3 staff development days. So 185 days. The average of our, I think that's average for our parity districts. It varies from 183 to 186.
So when you say 180 days, that's 180 days of actual attendance?
With students in seats.
Students in
Yes.
seats,
Instruction.
okay.
Yes.
And that's up from 170.
It was 175 until 1986.
And then the 185 days are certifieds, right? Certificated.
185 is
The teachers.
certificated work year, correct.
And then our classifieds,
Classified
working
work-
all year round.
We have
Except for these
some,
days.
we have some 12-month classified employees, we have some 12-month management employees, we have
11 months.
some 11-month management employees and classified employees. And then we have some classified employees, such as food services, instructional systems, that only work when school's in session, the day school's in session. They get paid for holidays that occur within their work year.
And we did, going back to the 175 days, we had 175 days.
Well, no, but-
Recently.
Yes, recently, because of
Because we
the,
could, not because of.
The state budget.
correct.
But they get paid for holidays, but they also all get paid for the winter break and the spring break and all that, or not?
If you're a student or a teacher, excuse me, classified employee who only works when school's in session, you don't get paid for spring break or winter break. You only get paid for the day school's in session. Plus, you get paid for Christmas and the day
Yeah,
before
that's
Christmas,
traditional
the
holiday.
day before New Year's and New Year's Day. As holidays within those breaks.
Okay.
Okay.
Ideally, is this the highest number of student days we want, 180, or was it,
Well,
was it higher?
In the state of California, that's
The
the
max.
number of days that schools are. If you're looking at the industrialized nations other than the United States, I think the average is closer to 200 days. And we've talked about that in the past, desire that over time, the United States would move closer towards
The rest of the world.
the international average as opposed to 180 days that we've historically had, or had for.
What's the international average?
200 days. Some nations have 220, but 200 is about the average.
Okay, are we done talking about, okay,
County?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to business services. Purchase orders, item 6. The recommended motion is to approve the purchase order list in accordance with board policy 3314. We keep this as a whole item to make sure that we don't have any conflicts. So I want to confirm that we don't have any conflicts on the purchase order. With personal business, no, we're good? Okay. I'll take a motion. entertain a second while we're at it.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a hesitancy for that? Is there something?
On
We
this
can
one,
just
I
all
just
chime
wasn't
in.
sure she was
I
reading
don't want
it, so
everyone
I
to
was
be
just
so
making
polite
sure.
here.
I was
Perusing.
You just have a polite board for
Yeah, you guys don't need to be so polite. Please talk over each other. So I have a motion and a second?
Yes, we have a
Okay,
motion
very,
and a
very
second.
good. Any questions on the purchase orders? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 5-0, Donna, please. And then list of expenditures, item 7.
so moved.
I was gonna.
Look at you. There
You got them all intimidated now.
you go. Well, I like to see.
You got me.
Do I have a second?
I said it already. I
was
talked
so-
right, I
it was
talked
so-
right over you.
This decorum on the board is gonna have to change. People are way too quick on the motions. All right, any questions on the list of expenditures? Everybody's cool on,
I have to,
okay, you
I have
do.
a conflict.
Okay, so we'll have one abstention from the vote, Donna, and any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So it's 4-0 and 1. Let's see, the one that Steve said I wasn't gonna like, and he was right, but let's talk about it anyway. Item 8, this is an agreement for authorization to enter into an agreement with, and I can never say the.
Petroki Quack and Associates.
Petroki?
Quattroki.
Quattroki?
Quack.
Quack and Associates.
Well, architects, I guess.
Architects for architectural services relating to, remind me what school it is.
Pine Grove Elementary School.
Okay, so I'll need a motion.
So
for-
moved.
Sorry.
All right, so, Mr. Wall.
So we have a proposal to design the replacement portable for this. It includes Petroki Quack and their consultants, who would be engineers that they'll hire to work on this project. The impact is $56,450 for this project. I did look to see if I could decrease that, but based on the cost of their consultants to assist in providing this program, that was the price they indicated as appropriate. The other issue is we're asking them to do it quickly because we want it to be to DSA and approved for their short summer break.
Oh, that's right there, you're around.
Right, any questions on that?
Have we used them before?
This is the firm that we're using on virtually all of our projects at this time.
But have we used them before? Just,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
The existing modular classrooms?
This is a 40-year-old modular facility that was used as the administration building for the campus until we reconstructed the old school, which is now the administration and library and other classroom or other uses. And we've turned this over to the YMCA. The reconstructed facility will be used for childcare, plus we will have a couple of itinerant spaces there for our staff as well. Be a lot more effective use for the school than the current facility.
As always, I just find the pricing on portables to be outrageous. And you throw in this, but I understand that's what
This
the
is-
cost of is.
This isn't even for the portable or
No,
the.
it's just for
or
This
the-
is
yeah.
just for
cleanup.
the
Right, right,
design
This is
and
just
DSA
for, tell us
approval.
what to
Right.
do.
And the DSA approval of it.
Right.
That's
It's-
incredible.
It is incredible.
Well, and it's topical, we're talking about that above the next item on the agenda, because I think that people forget that working within the system that we work within, everything costs a lot more than if you were just redoing your bathroom at your house.
It's much more difficult to get through DSA than
It's
it is to
amazing
get through
the steps
building
it takes to
And
get through.
DSA stands for,
Department of State Architect.
What- It may have other meanings. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Great hesitation. All right, proposed bond projects. This is a discussion item. So I'm gonna just turn it right over to you, Mr. Wall.
Yeah, thank you. So, over the last several months, we've brought proposals before the board. Going back to the tech plan, where we have this great plan that most of the components within the plan are unfunded. A lot of what's built into the bond projects enhances technology throughout the district. And when you look at tech plan, we have a tech package on our campus that includes, computers, monitors, laptops, tablets, projectors, document cameras and printers, as well as the front row sound systems for each of our classrooms. Little things like the front row sound system have proven through research to be very beneficial to student outcomes and is highly desirable. When you're looking at providing that package in every elementary classroom in the district, it would cost us an additional $253,200. In the secondary district, much larger district, $750,600. In addition to that, in the tech plan, part of the desires to have sufficient capacity for one-to-one devices, so that every student would have a device, and we'd be using devices for textbooks and all instructional materials, and not be totally paperless, but considerably more paperless than we are at this time. And to do that requires Phase B. The board already approved Phase A, so that we have expanded the capacity on each of the campuses, but to do Phase B and to get the campuses ready for one-to-one devices, it's going to be about $364,600 in the elementary district, an additional $664,700 in the secondary district. The next thing that we're proposing is that we purchase devices for every student in the district. And this would allow, common devices for every student, so that a teacher would be teaching the students how to use the device. They'd be using it for their textbooks and all materials, access the web. And the cost for that in the elementary district is $4,795,200, in the secondary district, $9,900,680. We have classrooms that look like they're straight out of the 1900s. As we're moving into as we're well into the 21st century at this time, and focusing on the 4 C's, creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking, we need to be able to teach the Common Core state standards and have effective learning environments that's conducive to 21st century teaching and learning. And the proposal to do that would be to replace furniture and make the furniture meet the goals of the 4 C's in the Common Core. And the cost for doing that in the elementary district is $455,000, and in the secondary district, $885,500. A lot of our furniture, as you know, walking through classrooms, it's all desks in rows, and most of it's 20 plus years old. We also have a number of old classroom portables which were purchased, a number of which were purchased in 1996 for the class size reduction. And we purchased them used in 1996. Some of them we have already demoed, but we have a number of them left on campuses. Maureen's here, and she's got 2 in the middle of her campus. Those facilities would be less expensive to tear down and replace than try to modernize and upgrade. But we have other portables in the district that are in need of replacement. In the elementary district, we have considerably more because of the old portables brought in for class size reduction, and the cost there would be $1,150,000. And in the high school district, we only have a few portables left, but they're very old and needed replaced at a cost of $600,000.
And based on our experience, that's just.
So it's a couple.
Yeah, that's 3. And then 3 in the secondary district. We also have modernization needs, and we're really talking about a bond building program for 10 years. So it's not right now, but we have the need to go back in and modernize facilities. It's going to be 20 years since most of those facilities were modernized. And we know we have to address electrical, roofs, plumbing, HVACs, phones, alarms, and building systems. And we're hoping that we will get state matching funds. A great example is we had a $45 million bond authorization in the high school district in April of '92. With the bond funds used for state matching, plus developer fees and deferred maintenance, our building program over 20 years was over $100 million. So that $45 million was used to bring state funds in addition to local bond funds for that. We're hoping that the state will have future bond proposals. They're running out of the last authorization. The governor's not proposing one for 2014, but we anticipate there will be one either on the ballot in 2014 that the legislators will move forward with, or in 2016. And to be able to access those funds, you have to have local matching funds.
You see, before
yes.
somebody sitting on the couch at home 2 days from now watching this freaks out over $100 million, I think it's important to put that into context of almost 8,000 students. I think it's 19 facilities, and by far the largest landowner in Petaluma.
In Petaluma, correct.
So when we say $100,000, people
$100
think $1
million.
million.
Yep.
People think of their elementary school and try to figure out how that. But we're talking about 19 facilities.
Right, and in the elementary, but in the elementary district.
But I mean in total.
Yeah, in total. In the elementary district though, we had 30 million and we turned it into over $55 million in projects using the same resources.
I just want context to that number.
Very good, appreciate that. And the modernization component of the building program in the elementary district is $12.2 million. And in the high school district, $18,405,000. And again, when you're talking about taking care of community resources over a 10-year period of time and addressing major items such as HVAC, roofs, and the like, it's a significant cost to the district and to the community, but it's what's required to maintain the community resources. And several years ago, you may recall that the Taxpayers Association came out and said districts need to do a better job of maintaining our resources. And in this district, we've done that, but we've done it with community support and the bonds that were approved. We haven't got out for bonds since 91 in the elementary and 92 in the high school district. So it's not something that we take lightly or spend frivolously, but we met all of the promises of those previous bonds and provide assurance to the public that we will continue to use, and the public trust that they support the bond measure in that manner. We also have some debt from the Kenilworth Junior High School that still exists in the amount of $6.6 million. And we're proposing to use this bond to pay off that debt so it doesn't become a continuing burden on the district. It's facilities, and that's what local bond measures are for. And the last one is, during the recession, we relocated the, second to last one is that we relocated the Crossroads to the new facility at, at Petaluma Junior High, in the classrooms there. Petaluma Junior High is the fastest growing secondary campus in the district. So with that, we're looking to relocate Crossroads to another campus, and we've set aside $2 million for that. And I misspoke, there's more to the building program than just that. Catch my place here. At the two high schools, we currently have a pool at Petaluma High School that is in dire need of reconstruction, and no pool at Casa Grande.
We have one half of one.
Yeah, we have one half of one, and we need to reconstruct the one at Petaluma High School and have equal amenities at both campuses with an estimated cost of about $4.4 million. At Casa Grande, we've built the school to accommodate 2,000 students, but we have one gymnasium. I don't know, many of you, if you go back to the schools that you attended, often had two gymnasiums for considerably fewer students. And Petaluma High School has 1,600 students in a single gymnasium. The plan is to build a small gymnasium at Casa Grande and a smaller field house at Petaluma High School at a cost of $7.1 million. You heard recently from the Casa Grande students about the fact they can't use their track for meets, and they haven't been able to for several years. And so we need to provide an all-weather track on that campus. You also approved lacrosse as a CIF sport, and they were not going to be able to play on the campus at Petaluma High School, nor use the stadium at Casa Grande, because those stadiums are being repaired for soccer and football in the fall, and any use in the spring would make it not usable for those sports in the fall. So the estimated cost for putting in field turf at the 2 high schools and trying to see where I got the cost. Go back to this document. Field turf and tracks on the 2 campuses, $4.25 million. And then in addition to that, we have outstanding plays and music programs that are being offered in our multi-purpose rooms that are not great venues for those programs. And this is something that the district was moving forward in a previous plan that we were unable to fund. So we're proposing to add performing arts centers on both of our campuses that would be available for not only the district but community use as well. And the cost for the performing arts centers is about $13 million. And then the last is to relocate Crossroads at the cost of about $2 million. And that's currently at Petaluma Junior High. It was at the fairgrounds, but needs its own campus, as Petaluma Junior High is going to need all of the space available on campus. In total, the elementary bond program, and we're proposing to bring back a resolution to the next meeting, it is $20 million, and the secondary bond program is $68 million. Again, this would be issues that would be allocated over 10 years, starting in 2014 with the approval of the bonds by the community in June of 2014. Be happy to answer any questions that the board has, but this is.
Why don't we work our way down the line?
Okay.
We'll just work our way
Yes.
down the line.
On the Performing Arts Center, we had plans 10 years ago when we sold the surplus property. What was the price then? Do you remember?
The price at that time was about $6 million
Yeah.
per. So
It's one of those things where
the cost is going up.
yeah, in 10 years. So if this is something that the community would approve, it would be nice to get it moving, because not just the schools, but the entire community would benefit from having performing arts centers. So that's one thing. I did have a question about the one-to-one devices. It says refresh twice. I'm assuming that's purchasing 2 sets per student in a 10-year.
So basically, the anticipation is that they're going to last for 4 years. So you buy a device, a student has it for 4 years, and then you provide them with another device.
Right.
So over 10 years,
Right.
you would buy one initially, you'll buy one in 4 years, you'll buy one in 8 years. It'll exceed the 10-year expectancy of the bond proposal.
Right. And also to point out that the device would be used as a textbook as well as a computing device, because we want to transition to more
E-books
E-books.
as opposed to
Right.
hard
So
textbooks. They're
you can-
more current,
right.
and it's not the only materials that they'll be using. They'll also be accessing other materials available in the cloud.
Right. But the cost of the devices are considerably less than the number of textbooks that would have to be purchased, in high school, for English and calculus and, chemistry and all the classes. So if there's, obviously there's going to be some user costs on ebooks, but overall, it's a more economical way. It just may be an issue with voters who are looking at bonds to pay for things that are short-lived.
Yeah, and part of the selling of a bond, if you're selling $68 million in bonds, there's bonds that begin being paid off in the first year. We'll make sure that we have sufficient bonds that paid off in 4 years, life of that, to cover the cost. The items that are, 30 years modernization of a facility will be paid off over 30 years.
So Steve, we're not putting a 30-year loan on our house to buy a car.
Correct. Correct. The bonds will match the bonds with the life expectancy of what we're purchasing.
The device.
Okay, that
Very
would be
good
really
question.
important to
Very good
be
question.
publicized.
Phoebe, did you have comments, questions?
And how would we prioritize this list?
So we'll be working on the prioritization of the list, and again, a lot of the modernization, because will be later in the project, because we've worked hard on keeping our facilities up, but we know we're not gonna be able to manage the facilities in the condition that they currently are for 10 years with available resources. So those will be later. Track and gymnasiums and obviously the technology will be the priorities that we'll be doing early in the program.
And then just a thought, I think we talked about it before, maybe considering consolidating, building one performing arts center for both high schools.
Yeah, the issue and we talked about that when we were looking at performing arts centers before. The big issue is if they're going to be used for the drama programs and the music programs on campuses, you can't practice and you can't move those. I mean, if you look at what band has in regards to moving into a facility, it's a major undertaking. Having attended the NorCal Honor Band last Saturday evening, that is a major undertaking to have the instruments moved into a facility and very expensive.
Just schlepping across
So
town.
we'd really lose the use, because I had proposed that to the music departments and got a lesson on why it's ineffective to do that from some of our music teachers.
And then finally, the one-to-one device for elementary would be kindergarten, K through 6.
We would be looking at devices K through 6, and right now the issue is by 3rd grade they have to be fluent on keyboarding and using and manipulating for the Smarter Balance test. So if you don't start that in K, you're going to not have students being successful in early primary. And if you look at the 3rd grade test, they're fully manipulating on the computer to be able to comply with the test taking.
Thank you.
Only question I had just was more of a clarification piece on this. If I remember what our bond consultant said at the, I think it was last meeting, was it not, or the one before that? In order for a project to be included in it, it has to be on this list. In other words, you can't float the bond and then start adding stuff after the fact.
It has to be part of the bond measure.
So
the bond measure is
somewhat identified, if you will.
Correct.
So in other words, if you didn't put auditorium on here, then
If you didn't have performing
you would
art-
not be able to come back and build an auditorium with those funds.
correct.
So I'm gonna assume that not everything on this list is actually gonna potentially get done. We theoretically could get to the end and say, or where there's not gonna be potentially all the money available for that. So, we might have $30 million worth of modernization needs and there's not enough money in the modernization piece. Or it may actually decide that the city of Petaluma, for example, might want to kick in for part of the pool for some agreement for use. And maybe we wouldn't have to use all that. So there is some potential for, this may cost more and this may not get done. Or this may cost more and this may not get completed as it's maybe described. This isn't the final list. This is
our
almost a cafeteria plan of what at least we think we'd like to do.
Yeah, this is our intent with the bond funds, and we can't do something that's not on the program. The desire is to do everything that's on, but,
that
we
may
could
not
be,
work out.
but yeah, there's always opportunity that escalation
Like
will
the
be,
cost of the performing arts center.
correct, maybe greater than projected at this time, because you're trying to project a building program for 10 years.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I was clear on that and make it clear to everybody else. I mean, this isn't necessarily then, okay, well, here you go, and that's it, because it's just that you can't add something else.
Correct, this is the desires, and we will do everything on the list that we can, and we won't do anything that's not on the list.
In other words, you're not going to get a nice posh 2-story office building with a view out of this.
No.
Because it's not on the list.
Correct.
Not that you don't deserve one or maybe need one, but it's not on the list.
It's not on the list.
Couple things. Wouldn't it be easier just to call up Jerry Brown, tell him to scratch out a check for $68 million?
Yeah, it would be nice, except for this governor is really looking at the potential. I mean, he's talking about putting it all on the local government. Every district having to do this for whatever their facility needs are. I don't think that's going to be the direction from the state. We're hearing from legislators that they believe, this has got to be a local and state issue.
That's what I was thinking, because they're just trying to push this on the local taxpayers. That's a big number for facilities improvements. Second thing is, in my experience, people lay back, and don't really want to be involved. But then as soon as the money pours in, boy, they want to be front and center on how it's spent. So what is our anticipated procedure going to be? Once, Phoebe asked a good question, once we prioritize things, then who's weighing in on this? Because I've seen projects, $3-4 million where everybody, their brother gets in. By the time you get done with it, it's like, what the heck do we have here? I mean, everybody wants everything, and to Mary's point, it goes from $6.5 million to $26.5 million because we're just accommodating everybody. I was involved on that Washington Street park project when I was at Parks and Rec, and it went from, everybody thought it'd be about a $5 million project, and it went to like 17 million.
Right.
I mean, it got big and out of control, and everybody weighed in, and you hear all the buzzwords, the stakeholders and this, that, and the other thing. So I'm really kind of curious as to what kind of process you anticipate and who's going to be making these decisions.
So in regards to the tech programs, for instance, we're drawing from the tech plan and what's incorporated in the tech plan. And again, it's a 5-year tech plan. So, what do we need to make that work? I mean, right now, we end up passing a tech plan and it sits there as a wish and never a reality. This is the only way that it becomes a reality in the state of California because the state's not coming forth with tech funds at this time. The building programs, this is based on what we've seen as needs on our campuses and
I get all that. I'm talking about.
But we'll control the costs and working with our
I know what
with our
problems we
experts.
went through just trying to get a gym floor in, okay?
Right.
And some people wanted to hold out until the whole thing could be redesigned,
That modern-
retrofitted, and it went from
The gymnasium retrofit
150,000 to
is,
$1 million.
yeah, the gym retrofit is actually a part of the program.
But you're missing my point. My point is, how do you see this thing structured of who sits in control to get the darn thing built? And I'm talking about, to Mary's point,
This
instead
is
of being
this is the
3
body
hour-
that
Huh?
this is the body that controls it with administration.
Yeah.
With administration making recommendations and the community have an opportunity for input into what's being proposed and
But all those projects come back.
But ultimately,
everything.
here,
This is where the buck stops. And we're going to ask at the next board meeting that the board approve a resolution, which is your promise to the taxpayers as to what we're hoping to be able to accomplish with the resources.
Well, that's my point. I don't want to be looking people in the eye and we get, 20% of this done and they funded 80% of it.
Yeah.
No,
No, we have to
do that?
control costs.
Okay, and Steve's got a track record in the history of being.
Yeah, we've been very successful in.
On time and under budget, is that your reputation?
We were on time and within budget. We accomplished, the last bond initiative, we did accomplish everything that was promised. And then because we were able to go to the state and get some matching funds, we were able to do more.
Okay, now is this factoring into some of the other monies we might be able to generate, or would that be on top, like our land?
That would be on top of this. So that would actually will help us with escalation of costs that's probably light in this proposal. This is because we have those resources. And we also will plan on continuing to collect developer fees, and that will go towards new construction as well.
And just for the people at home, Steve, because with an annual budget of about, safe to say 66 million?
Yep.
What percentage of that are we using for facilities now or reserving? I don't think we have a rainy day.
So we use 3% for restricted maintenance and for our films. So that's basically our maintenance department and materials and supplies to keep that. We have another 0.5% that we use towards deferred maintenance projects. It's light and it should be more,
1%
but that's what we have available to us under the local control funding formula. And at this point, the state used to match the 0.5%. That's gone. It hasn't happened during the recession. It's not built in. The expectation is deferred maintenance falls on the district, and you need to find it within your resources. We know in the state of California that our instructional resources are smallest in the nation, or amongst the last, bottom 4 or 5 in the nation, if not, 50th or 51st. And so we don't have educational resources to put towards our maintenance, deferred maintenance, and new construction needs.
Well, and it costs $54,000 to put a portable.
No,
Not
it'll cost-
including the
no,
cost.
They'd have to design that.
It costs closer to $200,000.
Plus $54,000 to prep it.
Not including the portable.
Yeah,
It costs
just-
Or the demo.
$54,000 to put a portable somewhere, so.
Just to get it approved by the state.
But one last question, so the maintenance, did they ever allocate, or do we allocate for new capital improvements or projects? Do we have a separate fund for that, or is that lumped in with maintenance?
So we do collect developer fees to help accommodate new construction, but those funds are to be there to match state funds and to use in conjunction with bond funds. It's not supposed to be sufficient to be able to construct a new campus, for instance, or even major additions to existing campuses.
Okay.
Sure, you're.
Sure.
That's enough. That's
That's
enough.
enough? Okay, so this was a discussion item. This is gonna be a relatively large agenda item. So when we're making the agenda for the next 2 weeks, if we could take into consideration that this is gonna be a relatively large agenda.
Yeah, it would be a resolution for board consideration, including language, could be public here to speak to that.
Sure.
There will be language where basically for the board's review and discussion relative to the promise you'll be asked to approve to the voters of the greater Petaluma area.
Right, so between now and then, I guess I would just also encourage everybody here to look at the list long and hard, think about anything else that you might have a question about, contact Steve if you have a specific question between now and then to make sure that, we come ready to talk about it. Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, so let's move on to.
Public comment? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, excuse me,
Yeah, did you give me a card or?
no, actually, he wants to speak on this item, but it's
Actually, we'll still need a card, but
Okay.
you can talk and then fill it out.
Great, thank you.
We're on the honor system here.
so.
Appreciate you giving me your time.
Of course.
So my name is Matthew Morgan, and I'm the Executive Director at Live Oak Charter School. I was here a few weeks back and you approved our charter. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much and welcome, hello public. I'm here, I had sent a letter to Mr. Wollner earlier and I had heard news that you were looking at offering the school facilities bond this year, and Live Oak wanted to express its interest in being included in such. So Live Oak requests inclusion in the scope of the projects outlined in the school facilities bond under consideration by Petaluma City School Board for 2014. Live Oak is an established school with a vibrant program, but it is still occupying transitional space at the Snow Marin Fairgrounds for lack of better quarters. Our current facilities are minimally adequate and do not provide the reasonably equivalent facilities that are offered to students at other district schools. Live Oak lacks many of the core components of a fully functioning school campus, including a gymnasium, multi-purpose stage, cafeteria, purpose-built classrooms, and outdoor space, fields, track. It is our great hope that Live Oak Charter and Petaluma City School District can work together to improve this situation through the integration of these needs within the scope of the proposed school facilities bond. Prop 39, passed in 2000, the previous Prop 39, outlined responsibilities of authorizing districts to ensure that reasonably equivalent facilities were made available to charter schools and their students. Live Oak has not made such an appeal in recent years, though developments at our current site may prompt the necessity to initiate a Prop 39 request. Such a request would present an ongoing liability for PCS. The provision of required facilities could lead to the cohabitation of the charter school on an already constrained PCS campus. This solution would present significant disruptions to the programs of both schools. The needs for the charter school and the school district would be better met through use of a portion of the proposed bond to assist in the acquisition and development of a new long-term school campus. Live Oak is a publicly funded, independent charter school operating under the same state system of compliance and fiduciary responsibility required of all public, local education agencies in California. Live Oak is committed to offering an exceptional public education opportunity to Petaluma area families and secures priority enrollment to students living in the Petaluma City School District, thus ensuring that Petaluma City School residents have the greatest access to our program. Live Oak's families are Petaluma residents, taxpayers, business leaders, public education advocates, whose interests and jurisdiction interweave with Petaluma City School Board. Our families, many of them the same property owners that will be paying for the proposed bond, deserve access to the benefits of their contribution and the community's broader investment in school facilities. Precedent for the extension of bond funding to charter schools comes through two major bond initiatives, LA Unified Measure Q in 2008 for $7 billion, and San Diego Unified Measure Z for $2.8 billion in 2012. Please find, and you have a letter that will be made available to you, Mr. Baldwin. There's attachments that describe the text from both of those bonds initiatives. Both those bonds provided funding directly for the purchase, development, and improvement of charter school facilities. The recent passage of San Diego's Measure Q reflected a strong partnership of area charter schools and their authorizing district to support and ultimately pass the bond measure. Such a partnership would serve Petaluma residents by fulfilling our mandate to serve the community with the best public education opportunities possible. Live Oak is earnest in our commitment and appreciates the constant dedication of Petaluma City School Board and staff. We look forward to furthering this relationship as partners on the school facilities bond. Thank you.
Matthew, just what percentage of your students live with?
38.5%.
And how many students do you have?
270, 269 today.
K-8?
K-8.
Okay.
Yeah, Prop 39 addresses those students who live within the elementary school district as far as space is concerned. So it's 39% on the school's population. We do have the requirement to provide or offer similar space and amenities to those students.
And I invite you to come take a look at our campus if you're curious to see what it looks like. I know a few of you have already, so you're welcome to come take a look. It needs some help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. There we go. And you'll give me that card, Matthew, right?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Let's go on to item 10, the quarterly report. It's a discussion item. Do I have any discussion on that?
Hang on, sorry.
Certification of county treasurer for the
Oh,
period.
no.
No?
No.
Discussion on that? No? And then what about the enrollment in the ADA report? Do we have any discussion on that?
Nope.
We're good with that.
Thanks for fixing it so we can see it.
Yeah, so we did, Mary did call and we did have the orientation wrong again, but we fixed it and we'll have it right for
So we can
future.
read it. So
I
nice.
got you.
Yeah, we don't want you to have to turn yours, and then it switches anyway, so it doesn't work.
All right, so we need to have a discussion on item 7. Oh, let's go to 6, which is the same thing as 7, except it's an administrative regulation. Extracurricular and co-curricular activities, regulation 6145. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Steve, I'm going to defer to you on discussion, or should I, am I going over here to Jane?
You can go to Jane on that one. It's an annual.
This is an annual required by Ed Code that we annually reconfirm our commitment to extracurricular and co-curricular activities as set forth in the board policy.
Okay, so that's not just a board policy requirement, but my first suggestion was to be, why do we have that board policy that we annually have to recommit to it?
Ed Code.
So that is an Ed Code.
Mhm.
There we go, local control again. So, does anybody have
Local,
any
isn't it?
discussion about our commitment to extracurricular and co-curricular activities?
I think we demonstrate that.
Do we remain committed?
Yes.
We all remain committed to that? Is that a sufficient discussion?
That's sufficient discussion, thank you.
Okay, well, that discussion's closed. With regard to, that's 6 and 7, can I make a broad leap that
Yes.
our discussion just actually encompass both 6 and 7?
I'm okay.
All right. Anything on the first reading of the new courses for 2014?
I wanted just to say that I was excited to read them, and I hope that there's high demand, because they're real-world applications for kids.
And I am also happy to tell you that these are all A through G.
That's what I was gonna ask, that's
CTE, A through
great,
G.
yes.
Nice.
And that we will be bringing back a few new courses at our next board meeting. So, and I'm just warning you of this, that you will be seeing a couple new courses at the junior high level because of the new decision for integrated mathematics. We need to build a couple of new courses at our junior high level in order to get that transition on the road.
Okay.
So,
Great, it's exciting.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? If not, is there any discussion about the first reading of the course name changes? I don't time
I'm
and
sorry, I have a
schedule.
quick question.
No, absolutely, go ahead.
Changing. Is it a requirement that we add new classes each year, or we just take it upon ourselves to?
We take it, the schools usually come up with new courses almost every year. Every now and then you'll get a year where we don't have a new course added, but this year is one of those years that we are adding some new courses for next year.
And does that mean hiring teachers, or we just?
It can mean hiring teachers. It can also, sometimes it's reshuffling. These courses are actually kind of a reshuffling, so we probably wouldn't be adding new teachers for these particular courses.
Got it.
But kind of a broadening and expanding of what they can do.
Good. Okay. So then on the name changes, do we have anything there? No? Let's move to O, future business. Mr. Bowman, do you have anything? So a big bond discussion.
Yeah, well, the bond will be an action item at the next meeting, and I'm sure they'll have plenty of input from board and possibly community on that. Jane, any?
It may be time to do a formal LCAP kind of midterm presentation. At that point in time, we are rounding up on goals and priorities, so we should have those pretty well established.
Okay. So, without any further ado, I will take a motion to adjourn to closed session. So it'll be very short. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourning to closed session. Secrets going on behind the big white door back here. We'll be back out in about 20 minutes. For anybody that would like to stay, you're welcome to. Please do.